Welcome to the channel of Parmap. Please like and subscribe the channel. Today we see the Nitrosamine Impurities in Human Medicines. This guideline published on 8 July 2025 by the European Medicines Agency. These are reference guidance by the European Medicines Agency. This is a table of contents, then executive summary, introduction. The reports evaluate the effectiveness of EMRN, which includes EMA national competent authorities of the European Commission response to nitrosamine impurities in medicine, provides an overview of the measures put in protect public health. What is the purpose of it? To protect the public health while ensuring the medicine remains available with ensuring the medicines available in the for the patient use. It also described the refinement over time of regulatory tools used in a managed nitrosamine impurities based on evolving scientific knowledge. Managing the potential presence of nitrosamine in medicine has been priority of the EMRN since 2018. When EU regulators become aware of the presence of these chemical compounds in certain containing medicine, these are the introduction of the guideline. Then scientific assessment is contains the Article 30 reviews of the sartans and anidine. Sartans. Regulators become aware of the presence of nitrosamine in EU medicine in June 2018. You are aware of the available of medicine and nitrosamine in medicine in June 2018 when a manufacturing of a certain containing medicine reported presence of NDMA when the certain containing the NDMA is identified as a nitrosamine in June 2019. As a result, the European Commission triggered the EU review of all or certain medicines in the form of referral under Article 31 of Directive of on July 2018. During the review conducted by CHME, it became clear that the NDMA formation in Halsartan resulted from the use of sodium nitrate in the manufacturing process to quench unreacted hazard reagents after under acidic and thermal conditions in the presence of N-dimethyl formaldehyde, which can hydrolyze into dimethylamine. CHMP subsequently requested analytical data on 4-hour angiotensin receptor blockers, that is a candencertain, irbesartan, losartan, and olmesartan, with the same reaction principle in their manufacturing process. The analyzed testing data confirmed the presence of NDMA in some batches containing these active substances in September 2018. The scope of review it widened to cover these active substances. Other small nitrosamines such as N-nitrosodimethylamine, that is NDA, then NMBA, then NDBA, then NIIPA, then NDIPNA, then NMPA were subsequently detected were shown to form under analogous reaction conditions with other amines. Meanwhile, the European Director of the Quality of Medicines Healthcare reassessed the suspended many CAPs of valsartan and irbesartan and losartan. At a conclusion, review of April 2019 MH were given 2 years review manufacturing process test for the nitrosamine impurities. Implement limits based on a acceptable intake for NDA, make any necessary changes to minimize the nitrosamine contamination as much as possible. In November 2022, CHMP updated recommendation for this review to align then with the recommendation from the article for the review of human medicine, which concluded in the June 2022. The main change concerned with the limit of nitrosamines, which had previously applied to the active substances but was considered inappropriate in finished product. This limit based on the internationalized agreed standard, that is ICS M7R1, should ensure that the excess risk of cancer from nitrosamines in any certain medicine does not exceed 1 in 1 lakh for a person taking the medicine along the lifelong treatment. Excess risk of cancer from nitrosamine is certain, not exceeding 1 in 1 lakh patient for the lifelong treatment of the medicine. A threshold or toxicity concern dated TCC of 18 nanogram day was introduced as a default limit of nitrosamine impurities where substance specific toxical data not available. Where the substance specific toxical data not available, that is a TCT limit, that is 18 nanogram day, is introduced. The CHMP and CHP published the detailed question and answers document containing guidelines on how to implement outcome of Article 31 review in order to support image, ensure that the harmonized approach along the member states when assessing the relevant updates to dossier. In May 2019, after conclusion of certain Article 31 review, the EMRN conducted a lesson learned exercise to identify areas for improvement to prevent unacceptable impurities such as nitrosamines from occurring in human medicine to support the regulatory network's preparedness for managing similar cases of unexpected impurities arising in the future. As part of this exercise, in meeting with stakeholders, including industry association or regulatory agencies, took place in 19, drawing the experience from the starting incidents. Lessons reflect a group recommendations containing covering prevention, incident management, market surveillance, communication, and internal coordination. Then granted in September 2019, a request for ECNP stability and containing medicine following reports of NDMA above the air limit. It was postulated that ranitidine degrades over the time from NDMA, then more NDMA also following the congestion. This review ultimately led to the suspension of marketing authorities for ranitidine containing medicinal products in the EU, that is 2020 CEPs of the ranitidine that were valid for beginning of April were suspended by the EDQM, withdrawn by the holder. Then CHMP containing recommended conditions for lifting the suspension of ranitidine medicine, including requirements for companies to provide more data. Following a request of re-examination, the CHMP contained the conditions for lifting the suspension of the medicine, including requirements for companies to provide more data on the possible form of NDMA from the ranitidine inside the body, as the formation of NDMA in the body was expected very low following the single low dose of ranitidine by the injection. The CHMP amended condition lifting suspension for those ranitidine medicine. Then Article 5.3 review for all medicine. In September 2019, EMA Executive Director asked CHMP to provide guidance according to the Article 5 regarding the detection, management, prevention of presence of nitrosamine medicine for the human use. In September 2019, during the first phase of Article 5 review, call for review launched regarding the image of human medicines containing chemically synthesized active substance to review their medicines for possible presence of nitrosamine, to test all the products at risk, and to introduce necessary changes to the marketing authorization within 3 years. Is a guideline. The recommendation of this review covered the need set of specification limit for the multiple nitrosamine for the particular medicinal product in line with the published limit. Specification of setting of the uh, specification limit in line with the published limit in the specification. Then flexibility of control strategies. That is a regular testing, skip testing, omission of specification. In consideration for analytical method development and sensitivity requirement. Control options when more than one nitrosamine is present in the same when and then one nitrosamine present in the same, then control option is mentioned. Then methodologies to for setting air limits of need nitrosamine where significant insufficient outside were available, including class specific TTC limit of 18 nanogram day. Exceptions are medicines indicated for treatment of advanced cancer where the active substance is still genetic at therapeutic concentrations. The exceptional and temporary use of higher limits for products containing nitrosamine impurities above their limit but which still have positive benefit and risk ratio. The need for further epidemic studies. Information considered for the implementation output of Article 5 through all amendments is present in the more detail in following sections. Overall develop approaches. EMRN guidance for the implementation article of CHMP opinion. In 2021, the EMRN published a nitrosamine implementation oversight group which mandate oversight of implementation of recommended article review was the calling for a task provide non-board oversight in implementation of CHMP's Article 3 opinion. Report progress of EMR regarding the EMA's compliance to call for review timeline progress with the updating guidance and other aspects related to implementation of recommendation. Then evaluate the need for updating current guidance queries for the publishing new scientific and procedural guidance. Provide support for the drafting guidance of delivering draining to assessors. Then address specific matters related to call for you identification. Provide link with the status for stakeholders to including initiating maintaining dynamic interaction of pharmaceutical industry. Call for review of image. In September 2019, EMA and CHA announced the launch of IPCA exercise, request image or review and then manufacturing process in order to, if necessary, mitigate the risk of nitrosamine report back to authorities. Image are requested to the risk of nitrosamine of the authorized products based on the available scientific evidence. That is a step one is a assessment of the risk of products. Then if risk is identified, then complementary testing. That is a step two. Code should be followed. Lastly, presence of nitrosamine was confirmed through the testing. Mitigation measures should be implemented. Response templates and information or reporting mechanisms were made available for deadline for the step were defined. Following the conclusion of article opinion, scope of CFR was widened becoming human medicine biological given experience. Then a guideline for the EHS. In also mentioned the small molecule nitrosamine NDSR without carcinogenic data. Carcinogenic potency of categorization CPC has been established based on a structural relation with the five putting categories. A limits for each category given. After lapse of guidelines of CA/MH, applicants still expected to continue to comply with the requirements of the assess, identify, control, report the potential nitrosamine input throughout the product life cycle. The impurities are recommended throughout the product life cycle of the product. Then notify the respective authorities for the as per the EMA should revisit initial regulation and when information become available, updating the submitted response accordingly. EMA should legally responsible ensuring the quality, safety, and efficacy of their medicines. Guidance for the image. In August 20, the AMR published Q&A document for the image additional guidance for how implement of the recommendation article opinion and CA per exercise. The document has been updated regularly in line with evolving scientific knowledge about nitrosamine to replace procedure of CA per exercise. A major milestone reached by July 2023 with the implementation of carcinogenic potency categorization approach, that is CPCA. Then ENA Saman test 380 to determine the compound physics AI limits, that is nanogram day, as well as the publication of agreed AI limits of nitrosamine impurities periodic updates. These updates were discussed with the stakeholders, including the international regulators, internationally stakeholders. Their meetings for authorized medicines, EMA is responsible for changes in actives and finished products if nitrosamine are identified. Then they should submit the variation as necessary to amend their manufacturer's control specification, product information, raw materials, and packaging to prevent risk of nitrosamine formation. The potential presence of nitrosamine is also evaluated as part of marketing authorization applications. After submission state, applicant must submit risk evaluation of in attachment to the marketing authorization dossier. If the nitrosamine is identified, include necessary information about mitigation strategy and confirmatory testing. If relevant information is not submitted as part of MMA, the requesting during the MA review process, outstanding issues related to nitrosamine product should be addressed before the final opinion, including confirmatory testing as applied, evaluation issues as needed because as per requirement, nitrosamine causes case assessment workflow. The workflow support to the management of reporting of nitrosamine associated with the CFR. As product contain nitrosamine can be authorized centrally or nationally, mechanisms of harmonization management cases were published from the AMRN approach for the implementation of the workflow set of the four different scenarios when component is submitted in the stage 2. Scenario A, when non-nitrosamine is detected in medicinal product, the nitrosamine level exceeds the AI limit based on the ICS principle 1 in 1 lifetime. The same scenario applies to the where more than one non-nitrosamine is detected. Total sum of nitrosamine exceed AI limit of more potent nitrosamine. The sum of detected nitrosamine exceed the 1 in 1 lifetime risk. Then scenario B, a non-nitrosamine is detected in medicinal product of nitrosamine level does not exceed AI limit based on a M7 principle, that is 1 in 1 lakh tablet risk. Then, however, the total nitrosamine contains more than 10% of the AI limit. The same scenario applies to the where more than one nitrosamine is detected. The total sum of nitrosamine does not exist limit at most potent nitrosamine. That is sum of all the nitrosamine below the 1 in a 1 lakh risk. Then scenario 3 is a known nitrosamine detected in the medicinal product. The nitrosamine level known nitrosamine below the equal to 18% of based on the AMC principles. The same scenario applies to the more than one nitrosamine has been detected and potent nitrosamine content is equal to be 10% I believe based on NCM principle. The most potent nitrosamines are the some of the nitrosamines. Scenario is a one or more nitrosamine for which it is not defined a limit based on ICM same principle as detected in the medicinal products. While the scenario C cases marketing authorization is repeated, scenario B is a marketing authorization should be subject to changes that is variation or reference cannot is cause requires first change in the determination and limits of a recurrent changes scenario B depending on the transformation content for each of the above scenarios the process were developed to ensure that the best use of existing platform, the incident review network, the existing regulatory pathways of quality revision and reference. For the establishment of a limit, two main approaches are established. If nitrosamine are identified with the sufficient substance-specific carcinogen data, the TDPT should be calculated used to derive a substance-specific limit of lifetime exposure that recommended ICSM-7 lifetime. Whereas on the other hand, the sufficient substance-specific driven substance limit for lifetime exposure not available for the four option can be used as CPCA driven by structure activity relationships are then GLP compliant enhancement test, then relevant will conduct in homogeneity study. Following the introduction of CPC in 2023, EMA established the process process the MH proposes to a limit of new nitrogen detected in their product. The proposed AI limit is assessed confirmatory by the lead responsible component authority. Then MH should propose AI limit different to derived range CPC based on in vitro in vivo studies. The product reporter that is CPC LMS is responsible for addressing submitted data in consultation with the nitrosamine safety offset group. Depending on the outcome of assessment, elements are appended, may be revised and appended. Scenarios or cases is managed through the quality debate procedures with the product reporter leading to assessment of image data, proposed action, the CPCA to determine the need of market actions. If market action needed as a potential response, identify scenario cases image is responsible for the circuit patient for product records with the rapid alert network in information page 9. According with the stable record process, in case product shortage are supported by the medicine shortage single point contact with the publicity. Then introduction is of the safety is given, then quality given. In safety, nitrosamines are mutagenic impurities carcinogen on the basis of animal studies classified as possible human carcinogens. Nitrosamine need to be metabolically activated in the express of mutagenicity study. SHM7 guidelines the assessment of control of DNA due to mutagenic impurities. They are including the class of hypotension and mutagenic cancerogens referred to as a colorectal cancer. Although some nitrosamines with structural features hindering metabolic activation of DNA product formation may be less potent than mutagen, less mutagenic. Establishment of a limit for nitrosamine in human medicinal products is performed by the EU toxicology expert. A limit mentioned on the toxicology study by the EU toxicology expert are the initially high limits established by safety working party, but due to the increasing number of nitrosamine being reported, task is duplicated to the initially with the permanent 2022. Then here list published by the ANSOAG published in Appendix 1 of the EMA question and answer. The approaches for the safety assessment of the nitrosamine in the EU has been developed in a collaboration with International Regulatory Partners Association about the combustion that animals and the lack of suitable surrogates for the red across approach pose challenge with assigning a limit of substance consecutively in May, July 2023, EMA and Eastern Regular introduced the CPC and EET as a new approaches for the AI limit assessment of new nitrosamine. The CPC and AAT condition have been published in Appendix 2 and 3. The CPC is a structure activity listing based on the method that allows rapid assessment of a nitrosamine in 5 categories, each with the corresponding AI limit between 18 and 150 nanogram day, reflecting the predicted carcinogenic potency. Following the implementation of zero choice CPC approach has been used to place under some individual 1 in 5 categories based on the toxicological data and chemical structure. The aim of predicting the compound related carcinogenic potential. There's a category 1 is a 18 nanogram day predicted to highest potential of causing cancer in humans, while those category 2 is 100 nanogram day, category A 100 nanogram day. Category 4 is a air limit of 150 nanogram day are considered as to have progressively lower risk. Compounds falling under the category 5, that is 150 nanogram day, are predicted to have the mutagenic and carcinogenic potential. It depends on condition which need to be satisfied certain negative tests. Although central nitrosamine is 1.5 microgram day, hypersurrogate nitrosamine is available with the sufficiently robust carcinogenic data that credibility from the surrogate substance still serves as a point of departure from the division of element on the basis of structure activity essential and read across. And negative result is a relevant well conducted immunogenicity can on the control of nitrosamine mutagen input according to ISS 312 and 313 limits. Being currently the approach analysis function cannot be applied by the to nitrosamine limited and the input application of LTE is permitted by certain circumstances described in the EMA to control the presence of nitrosamine excluding the element during the specific implementation up to the 3 years following the element established. The paradigms of the safety testing and sustainable nitrosamine is continually evolving in the generation of new data by the industry, academy, and regulation, working with the military and collaboration. The data from the EMA studies should be led by the Institute Nitrosamine Research Activities under the genetic transmission quality. It is EMA reports published in 2000 consider nitrosamine focused on the non-theoretical root cause, then recommendation for the development of analytical methods for detecting and qualifying these impurities based on the experience of and focus mainly on the small molecule drugs such as NDMA and NDA. A comprehensive analysis of non-root causes for predictive plus and theoretical root causes based on the literature data should be carried out. The conclusions on this early analysis focus mainly on reagent solvents and catalysts within the API manufacturing process. Several cases of small nitrosamine formation in the finished product were reported. The origin of degradation pathways of the impurities in the finished product formation took place sometime, and to understand it, the certain risks associated with the risk pack are highlighted. The review of published pharmacopoeia analytical images to detect and quantify these impurities were also carried out. The majority of these methods were designed to detect and quantify small molecule nitrosamine distribution based on a robust toxicological data. They were not in the acquired analytical sensitivity as well, ruling out false positive and negative results from the interference sample contamination instability recommendations were also made for the published attention and representative sampling. In summary of this development of associated changes in published guidance in 2021 below are defined that the nitrosamine product could be not be synthesis but excited when unlikely to form. Then conformity testing should not be therefore but needed to theoretical nitrosamine that do not from the practice. Again, allowance of the testing only certain specification requirements cases where one not present in the same product ensure one line cancer donors in one line. This could be fixed approach in fish limit asset for the nitrosamine present. The flexible approach developed is nitrosamine feasibility and is a limit, that is ppm, ppb additional limit in total nitrosamine it required a risk factor associated with the active substances. Finished product processes were better understood and the allowance were made to conduct complementary testing of active is precursor, intermediate raw materials as surrogates in finished product, provided that no respective exit downstream in testing material. Scientific updates in guidance for risk factors glucose in further data emerge. As reflected above, the main focus on 2022 has potent small molecular nitrosamine found primarily in API manufacturing process in 2022. The increasing number of papers have been received in nitrosamine related structure and active substance HPL indicator has been established around 14 of marketed products as a result. NDSR formation based on the structural features and active substances in general trip vectors require the formation of nitrosamine impurities, that is a nitrostable aromatase and nitrosetting agent then conductive conditions. In this case, oxidation of hydrogen functional groups can lead to nitrosamine generation, that is secondary amino alphabetic aromatic free base salt API degrade containment from solvents intermediate catalysts. Then conductive conduction is a pH temperature, then nitrosamine hydrolysis concentration water analysis kinetic energy, then nitrogen agent is a nitric nitric acid, then nitrosamine, then nitric and water, then API degradation. There were possibility multiply acceptance avoiding nitrogen formation carefully designing manufacturing process for API. The mitigation formation interest in the finished product more challenging because vulnerable time amines of interest is critically important active substances cannot be removed. Remain where possible, remove the reduced nitrogen agent sufficiently lower the scope of amending manufacturing process in operation without impacting the product secrets is limited. If indices are found, they cannot be removed from the preparing finished product. In this case, the nitrosamine is detected above the limit. The various recommendations given these include additional nitrosamine using content with level sufficient limit and DSR formation, incorporation of the replacing exhibit which reduces nitrate content. Then using nitrate scavenging agent and antioxidant pH model in the formulation for situation where nitrosamine levels increase during the storage, more protective packaging, more restricted storage conditions, and shorter life will be considered. Other approaches may also be viable depending on the root cause. There were multiple examples where above strategies have been successfully implemented or last for a few years for products marketed in the EU ensured nitrosamine levels keep below the acceptable level intake. Have an impact of channel formulation finished product quality attribute that stability value by incorporating new exhibit shall be carefully transferred and investigation of the appropriate. The market surveillance given the medicine shortage availability is mentioned, then engagement communication with stakeholders, that is healthcare and patient mentioned, then collaboration with the international areas of future development given and conclusion given as an email has initiated framework for the convenience governance structure of controlling nitrosamine impurities in medicine. The call for review launched in 2019 required EMA to review their portfolio and conduct complementary testing with risk identified and implement adequate preventive and corrective actions if required. Reporting mechanisms were developed in order to facilitate submission of CFR reports in compliance with the request were generally good. The email had regular and extensive interaction with the industry stakeholders and international partners to discuss the latest information on nitrosamine imported. The science around the formation of nitrosamine has developed significantly responsible, leading to regular subdisciplinary guidance, principal and testing requirements. More similar the requirement than the more many products in market have risk of addition lead to through review of the toxic potential of these impurities in the development of cosmetic protection categories approach. Then application of the EMA amendment is in collaboration with the international regulatory partners at this time report. Over 170 images have been published on AMS website. Many derived from the latest scientific approaches. Safety and of the patient has been carefully balanced with the need of ensure the availability of important medicine related to the all of few products have been made available. Patients have that have been ugly expert to the nitrosamine bodies. Then demonstrating the success of the approach, the authorities of EU containing the necessary measure protect British. Then in together national company authorities ensure responsibility as science policy development reviews medicine nitrosamine conduct competitive testing its appropriate quality safety of medicine. Thank you. Please like and subscribe the channel.